Hey, everybody. Bobby Medina here with my very good friend, Paul Barron. And today we are bringing you a very special and fun person here, young trumpet player from Vancouver, Canada, fantastic musician, creating lots of cool things here. We almost lost him as a trumpet player because he was going to go the microbiology route, but luckily fate stepped in and he's decided he's going to pursue his dreams and, be a musician just like the rest of us here. So we'd like to welcome Michael Kim.
Thanks so much, Bobby.
All right. Hi, Michael. I've been really fortunate to be involved in two of your projects. And for anybody that hasn't seen them, do yourself a favor and check them out. The sound quality, the video quality,
And
the playing, the mixing, the editing, everything about it is just really first rate. I guess my first question I'm going to throw at you is why? How did you get started doing these things? What was your impetus to get these really monumental projects off the ground?
Honestly, COVID was just a catalyst for getting me started. I thought about doing something like this for a very long time, and I can't really tell you why I didn't get it started because I don't know either. Um, when I saw a young trumpet player from England named Louis Dowdeswell in 2016 or so, I think that's when he released his first video. Or was it
Uh-huh.
2015? Frozen, Frozen's Let It Go, big band version with screaming high trumpets. I just thought, goodness, that sounds great. Oh, what a great trumpet player. I'd love to do the same thing. And then I saw him and Wayne Bergeron, which is my all-time idol. He's my trumpet god. And he and Louis Daswell were playing side by side, well, remotely because they live in two different parts of the world, doing, can't remember what the song titles.
it was another Disney thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's another Disney thing.
When
Wish
you
Upon a
wish upon
Star.
a star,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
right. And I thought, goodness, why can't I do that? I really want to do that. And I thought about reaching out to Wayne, and I just told myself, you know what? No, you're not. You're not good enough. Why are you gonna reach out to Wayne? What is he gonna do for you? So I just didn't even bother. And I just played trumpet as I normally did. I did tons of gigs and just lived my life the way I was living. And COVID hit. So now all my gigs are gone. All of my jobs, no nothing, no money coming in. I can't even play my trumpet without my mute on in my house because it's an apartment. And
Yeah,
that's
that's a
all.
bummer. I had 2 years of that, the worst two practicing years of my life in Anaheim at one point,
Mhm.
playing with a mute into a closet. I remember
Oh
that.
my goodness, yeah. And for me, it's not even a mute, it's a silent brass, which has even worse amount of back pressure than a Harman mute, let's say. And I'm just fiddling around and I thought, you know what? That's it. My friend just moved to a new house. He just bought a house and he is my recording engineer now. Jim Hobson, what a great trombone player. He's a very, very good musician.
Mhm.
And I thought, you know what? Why wouldn't I ask him to help me record? Because I bought a Royer 121 and Polo X as well, and just in hopes of being able to record somewhere. Then I went over to his house and just started playing without my mute on, and it was so liberating. And I was talking with him, hey, why don't I start with a remote project? So we started working on Star Trek that Jalen Bate wrote for me, well, arranged for me. And it all went from there. It's rest is history. It's just, we
Mhm.
just kept going and going. And I thought, I really don't want to appear in five different places. Nobody wants to look at one trumpet player in five screens.
Well, I think that's a great call. I mean, I think it's not only does it feature your playing, but
Mhm.
it, just visually, there's other people, there's other instruments.
That's right.
And not that I haven't seen, because I've seen some great, like Tony Cadleck's put out some incredible things with his playing and his
Mhm.
writing. He's a wonderful writer, but
Mhm.
it's just nice seeing a little more visual variety, and of course
Absolutely.
hearing a bigger group. And so you have kind of like themes, right, that you go by when you do this music?
That's right. We do have themes. Movies, Disney. What I'm trying to do is to get the general public that is not jazz fanatics or big band fans to be able to enjoy our videos as well. So I want to get the instrumental music back on the popular scene. That's at least what my goal is. So I decided to start with something a little bit more well known that everybody can enjoy. And then sooner or later, I'm probably going to revert back to Sammy Nestico kind of stuff. I mean, our next one that we're going to be doing is Artistry in Rhythm, Stan Kenton's classic, arranged into a metal version by my one and only mentor, Fred Stride from Vancouver.
Wow.
And he's graciously arranged that to
Wow,
suit my needs.
that is cool. The first time, I got to be honest, the first time I ever heard of Paul Barron many decades ago, a friend of mine, I had just moved up to Seattle from Los Angeles. I'm from LA originally, and he had laid a cassette. I'm dating myself now. He gave me a cassette of the Fred Stride band live somewhere in the cellar. I don't remember what club it was at, but
Oh yeah,
I just said, man, this band is stellar. And the guy playing lead is just killing it. He goes, oh, you got to meet him, man. It's my friend Paul. I want to hook you guys up. And you're going to, and ever since I heard that and we met, we've been good friends ever since then. So, the idea here is that we're going to introduce, you have something that you're going to introduce on Tuesday coming out,
that's
right?
right.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So it's our version of Lord of the Rings. And let's say it's like big band on steroids. It's big band with tuba, violin, what else are there? French
French horn.
horns and percussion and timpani. So it's like a full, oh, and violin too. So it's a full-size big band with orchestral instruments as well. And I wouldn't say it's like a big band thing. It's more like small, I wouldn't say jazz, small orchestra.
Like a pops kind of orchestra kind of
Yes,
sound?
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
With,
sort of like a chamber jazz orchestra is what I would, if I were to put a label on it. But your stuff is tough to put a label on because it transcends the boundaries between certain kind of genres. Like you were saying, it's not big band,
Mhm.
but it's not orchestra.
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of both, and it's not really pops in that it's not just kind of like the fluffy pop tunes that you would
That's right.
you would take your grandmother to go and see the symphony play, but it's more meaty. I mean, there's like
Yeah. I mean, when it's rock, the guys are rocking, when it's jazz, it's the real deal, which is cool. And of course you're playing on it, just playing all the lead, soaring high energy stuff is very cool to watch you do it. And very cool.
Thanks,
So
Bobby.
where can everybody see this then on Tuesday and that when it comes out?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a couple of accounts. I have an Instagram account, MK Trumpet. If you follow MK Trumpet, that would be a huge help. And I post just little clips here and there for busy people, just 40-second clips, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. But then if you want to watch the whole video, there's a link to my YouTube channel. I think it's Michael Kim Music. That's the YouTube channel name. And there's a link on my Instagram at MK Trumpet that you can click on. And we're going to premiere on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time.
And we'll
Awesome.
also post that link, below on when we post this interview, which will go up definitely before that, so that we can help promote that for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paul.
So I have a question, and this kind of pertains to me, but then possibly other members of your group.
Mhm.
For anybody out there that's watching, Michael and I haven't actually physically met in person.
Yeah.
We've talked on the phone.
Yeah.
We've done this, and we've recorded a couple of his projects together, and one upcoming as well. Do you know everybody else in your ensemble? I'm just going to say ensemble, or are some of them like me, like you've contacted, and they just record remotely, like I have done?
For now, yes, I do. I know every single person. I've worked with every single one of them.
Okay.
This project is like my baby. I want to be able to choose every single player that I want to play with and I want to work with and that I have worked with. And I have nothing but good things to say about them. And then I heard that it might be a good idea to reach out to some more well-known players, much more established players, and build a connection. And the first name I thought of was Paul, because when I was in grade 10, I think that's the year that I did BCMEA honor band, and I met Len Kay as a trumpet player. I think he's now retired. He told me to go see you, Paul. That was actually quite a while ago, but then you already moved to Seattle by then, and you're touring all over the place. So
I could have messed you up years ago, and we wouldn't even have this discussion then, because you sound so good now. Like, damn it, I should have screwed you up sooner.
Well, Paul, you're a legend here.
Oh.
Everybody talks about you. It's Fred raves about you, and he's my biggest mentor. So I thought, you know what? The worst thing you could say is no. I'm going to reach out to Paul and see if he wants to join the project. And because I'm a trumpet player, I'm quite picky in terms of trumpet playing. So I just wanted to pick somebody that I know that I don't have to worry about in terms of their playing or anything like that. So I just thought it was a long shot, and I reached out to you and you said yes. So that was great.
Well, I'm glad you did. I've had a lot of fun, and if there's a silver lining to this whole COVID time, it's having the time and just being set up to be able to do these types of recording sessions. It's a lot of fun and gratifying for me as well to contribute, just my little small part.
Oh, that's really great to hear. Yeah, it's really fantastic to be able to play, even though it's not together. One day, I think through this connection, one day I hope to play with you in person. And just to revert back to what your original question was, I knew everybody and I've worked with everybody so far, but our next project coming up, I've reached out to other players I've never met before, only heard of, and never even seen before. And I just reached out to them and formed the trumpet section. Next, I'm going to form a trombone section like that too, but then keep our core guys as well, like Jim and this young talent, Cameron Henderson. He's a little younger than me. And I haven't seen a trombone player play like that at that age ever. So I wanted to include him. He played first trombone and second trombone in Lord of the Rings. And oh my goodness, he sounds great. So
wonderful. And
yeah.
Our very own Bobby Medina will be involved. Am I letting the cat out of the bag by saying that?
No, not at all.
Is there a sixth trumpet part for me or what?
I've spoken for that already. Sixth is mine. You can have fifth if you want it.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the arranging is stellar, and of course, Fred's stride chart. I mean, that's the coolest of the cool. Well, let's change
Absolutely.
gears for just a minute because you know our group here. There's trumpet centric, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that may not know of your name yet. But once you know, Michael is a just a high energy kind of lead soloist, soloistic type of player in these types of situations. And you know, we have a lot of people always asking us questions about ideas about practicing or
Mhm.
issues that they might be experiencing and stuff. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you know, what you do kind of on a daily basis right now, even though it's with a mute, to keep yourself in shape, and
That's right.
how you gear up for a gig, you know, for a recording like this, because it takes a lot to play the part you're playing. I can tell you that.
Thanks so much, Bobby. It is quite difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the takes I did 8, 9, 10 takes to be able to play one line. Generally, it's not the case. I like to do everything just one shot. And because mine's the solo part, and I have to be able to sound natural. But some lines are just almost impossible to play well in tune and just without any sort of mistakes. So what I do is I don't generally like to practice range or anything like that, especially with the mute. I think it's quite ineffective because some days you're going to be great, some days you're not going to be so great. So on the days you're not going to be so great, if there's a lot of them with a mute in, it's just going to
Or
form a
without.
bad habit. Or without, yeah, it's just going to form a bad habit. So what I do is just very simple Arvin studies, some Alan Vizzuti stuff. I'm sure everybody knows who he is.
Of
He's a
course, yeah.
He plays fairly
monster.
well.
He's okay. Yeah, Alan Vizzuti studies. I do a lot of lip flexibilities, and I like to play quite soft in the higher register just to keep my chops up there. But I don't like to bash it into my face and just blow because that's just going to hurt my chops.
I think this is a huge point. You know, Paul and I had a workshop we did here not too long ago, and it was like one of the biggest. I think it was one of the biggest things that our participants were doing when they were demonstrating their playing. Right, Paul?
Yep.
Just overblowing, playing too loud too much of the time, you know. I mean, and even Paul had recommended, you know, and I've heard this from many people over the years, you know, just don't play too much, you know, stay in that 80%, maybe 85% of what your capacity is and below. You know, every once in a while you can really step on the gas when you need to.
That's right.
But don't try to play like that all the time, because it's detrimental to your playing. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge waste of energy, I feel, because it doesn't really do any good to you. And when you watch players like Wayne Bergeron play, he has an open aperture inside, and that's why his sound is so big and fat. And when you watch him play, he doesn't look like he's really jamming the trumpet onto his face and just like blowing his brains off. No, he looks relaxed. He looks very comfortable up there. And that's my goal too. And that's why I practice playing up there with ease. And if I have to step on the gas, I will. That's when I'm recording or if I'm playing gigs. But generally at home, I never do that. Another thing is I like to practice with the open aperture too. I keep closing up as I go up in the register, as many people would do. But the goal is for me to keep an open mouth rather than going E, and going up. Yes, it's easier. But if you do all as you go up, I find the sound quite fat and more open. And it's not as sizzly, no, but I feel that it's a little juicier. So that's what I practice mainly. just my sound.
I'm getting hungry now talking about sizzling and juicy and all that. A nice big juicy burger sounds good about now.
Well, that's cool. So I know we're just about out of time here, but just why don't you tell us a little bit more about how long do you practice? Do you practice daily? Do you practice every other day? Do you practice on and off throughout the day? Give us a little idea of how you work.
Before coronavirus hit, I practiced. I'm pretty guilty of this, maybe once or twice a week, because I was gigging all the time. My chops just needed a break. But since coronavirus hit, I practice every day. It's no exceptions. And I just feel that if I have the time, might as well work on my playing. And as I'm practicing more and more, I'm just realizing, oh my goodness, I'm so bad at this. So I just practice more and more, and I record myself practicing, and I have a really good laugh sometimes when it sounds so bad that it's good. But I feel that if you're practicing, you're supposed to sound bad because you should be working on something that you're not good at.
I think that's a point well taken. I mean, the trumpet is humbling, and a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people have a regular kind of routine that they do, and I'm not against doing routines, but I have to break out of it, and I have to change up what I do in order to stay flexible, to keep my mind working, and to cover other areas of my horn. You can't just play a little bit of this, sometimes you got to play a lot of that for a while and then play a lot of this for a while. So that's cool. So what kind of gigs were you doing before Corona hit?
I was doing lots of salsa. I was doing some mariachi as well. And of course, big band stuff, some jazz combo stuff. I did some few Kenny G style flugel, foo gigs here and there. And so I had to pay my bills, party bands, wedding bands, just list goes on.
Yeah.
But the most fun I've ever had in gigs are just big band gigs that don't pay.
So, Michael, thank you so much for being here with us. This is it's really exciting to see all the different projects that you've been releasing, and having been a part of this next one that's going to launch. Correct me if I get this wrong, but 3 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesday afternoon coming up.
That's right.
Tuesday. Okay.
That's right.
I got it. Yay. So very excited about that. Lord of the Rings. So if anybody hasn't checked out Michael Kim, do that on, is it Instagram at MK Trumpet?
Yes, that's right.
And then his YouTube channel, which is Michael Kim Music.
Yes.
On YouTube, and you'll see all those videos, and stay tuned. There's more to come. He's got some more projects in the works, and they're very exciting. So thanks again for being here with us and sharing some of your time. And for anybody watching, we're going to post the links as well. So if you don't transcribe that as I was talking, there'll be links below, so you can get to those channels and see that Lord of the Rings when that does launch.
Yeah,
so
be sure to check it out. Be sure to check it out. Great stuff. Great job, Michael. Good to see you.
Thanks so much, Bobby. Thanks so much, Paul. Really appreciate your time.
All righty.